Good evening, everybody. This is my Module 8, Legal Aspects of Teacher Evaluations. So I'm going to start off with one of the articles that I read, Teacher Evaluation and Issue Overview. Really good article. I was able to really understand what it was talking about due to the fact that a lot of our readings my school district does practice. So reading these articles, it was very interesting to me. Like with this one, governed by state laws, however they are designed and operated at the district level. I'm sure everybody's school district operates their own way as far as when it comes to teacher evaluations. But like this first bullet says, this is rely heavily on classroom observations with the help of rubrics and checklists. We use, in my school, use the Marzano model, and it is all rubric driven. So it really is a kind of a no-brainer on how they do it. Samples of with us, samples of student work, teachers' records, and lesson plans. Other relevant factors were also taken into account. Again, that's us. We do that, which makes perfect sense to me. As a new teacher, at first I was kind of confused with it, but having done it now for my short fourth year in teaching, I do get what they're looking at when it comes to evaluations and why they do it the way they do. And in the article, expressed it. It also talked about how the teacher evaluation process was revamped in order to help give teachers better information on strengths and weaknesses and to help the school districts tailor ongoing supports. I know, again, and I know I'll talk about this later, but in my school district, the evaluation process is all about strengths and weaknesses for us. From the beginning to the end, and our school district does use feedback on our evaluations on how they're going to do professional development and things like that, so I can understand it. And then last bullet, federal intervention gave muscle to the focus on teacher evaluations using $4.3 billion to offer grants to states that agreed to make certain policy changes. And then one of those policy changes was using student progress reports to add into the teacher evaluation process, which my school district does also. I'll talk about that more later. So I understood where it was going, and I liked the article. I thought it was good, provided a lot of good information. The next article was teacher evaluation heads to courts. The court cases I chose were ones that I could have seen happen in my school district because there was some cases like this that I know about. This first one was in Florida, which is where I teach, and it was Cook versus Bennett, and alleged that the teachers and subjects without FSAs were being judged unfairly, and the judgment was in favor of the state. Well, the reason why I picked this one is because I teach a course that doesn't have an FSA. Luckily for me, I've never ran into that situation where I was being judged kind of lesser than a teacher that does have an FSA or an EOC. I teach Navy JROTC, and we make our own midterm and final exams. Yes, it does get calculated into their grade point average, and I don't make the exam easy so they get good grades and I get a better evaluation. It's fair. It's looked at by my administration team, so they understand what we're teaching, and my evaluator sees at my midterm and final and knows that it is straight with the subjects that I teach, and it is not an easy test for them. So I could see this, if this was to happen in my school district, this could definitely happen. Someone would want to take them to court because in my school district, our evaluations, our summary score at the end of the year determines if we get a bonus or not. So if you're not highly effective or effective, if you're less than that, then you don't get a monetary bonus at the beginning of the next school year for your end of year evaluation score. So I could see this being an issue. Next one was in New York, Lederman versus King. He alleged that the state's method for ranking teachers is subject to inconsistencies. She rated effective in one year and ineffective the next year, despite garnering the same student achievement growth scores. And like it says on the bottom, I didn't see a determination on the case. It just said that there was arguments were being heard as of August 2015 but I didn't do any other digging to see if anything had happened yet. But just the case itself, I could see being an issue. We had a complaint about that by one of our teachers, saying that the year before he was all of his evaluations were innovating and applying. So he was definitely going to be rated as effective or highly effective at the end of the year, but his evaluator had changed after being evaluated by the principal for 4 years. His 5th year in teaching, gets the assistant principal, one of the assistant principals, to be his evaluator, and he's getting rated as applying and developing, which would have lowered his score. He wouldn't have even been effective at the end of the year and wouldn't have gotten a bonus. So his complaint was valid. So he went straight to the principal and said, "Hey, how is it that you were evaluating me for 4 years and I was doing great, and now I'm being evaluated by so and my grades are lower?" So the principal stepped in, didn't conduct an evaluation on him, unannounced, and he did well. And so the principal pulled the administrator aside and did some training for him or her, and basically just to find out what was going on. So, but things got fixed for him, and he did really well and was rated highly effective at the end of the year. So I could see this being a legit complaint. Lastly was the one in Tennessee, Wagner versus Haslam, challenged the state's use of composite school-wide growth measure for evaluating teachers in non-tested subjects like art and music. And the case was dismissed. So I don't see that being fair. School-wide growth being factored into my evaluation if I'm not teaching those subjects that are being added to my score. It wouldn't be fair to me at all. So yes, that would definitely be a legit case, and I could see why it went to court. And it's unsettling to see that some of these cases that were being taken to court were being dismissed or in favor of the state. So I could see it being an issue. So how my school district does it, we use the Marzano model. I really like it. I didn't understand it at first because it's pretty complex. As a new teacher, it makes it intimidating, but it's a lot to take in and understand. Luckily, my evaluator, my administrator, spent a lot of time explaining it to me, the different modules and how we're going to hit it. Would take my lesson plan and explain how I would hit, if I was thinking I was going to hit one area, but they would say, well, it fits more towards this one, and then explain the scoring system and how it would benefit me if they grade it in different ways. I really like it. It's thorough. We start our evaluation with what we nickname IPI-DIPI. It's an individual professional development plan, and you lay out your plan for the year as far as what you're going to teach, how you're going to teach it, and then your own professional development, what you're doing to improve, what you have done, what you're going to do during the school year to improve yourself. And then we do a halfway point, sit down with that also, and kind of fine tune it. But for our formal evaluations, we new teachers get 2 formals and 4 informals. Excuse me. And veteran teachers, anybody that's been teaching for more than 4 years in the school district, doesn't matter. You could be a 20-year teacher. If you come to the school district for the first time with us, you're a new teacher, and you're going to get evaluated on the new teacher model. So you could be in the state of Florida, but if you're not in our district, you got to start over again. So, but if you've been teaching in the school district for 4 years or more, then you get 1 formal and 2 informals. And they all do it the same way. You start the year with the IPI-DIPI, you do the halfway point one. The only difference is the evaluations. But when you get formally evaluated, you do your pre-meeting where you sit down with them and you show them your lesson plan, tell them what you're going to teach, him or her, what you're going to teach. Is it a new information? Is it a follow-on lesson plan? Have you been on this topic for a long time? And then you schedule a day and what period you want, and they come at that time. They conduct the evaluation. They look for certain things. The very next, that day, at the end of the school day, you will have your, I call it raw score, how they graded you. You look at it. You schedule a post-observation meeting, and you talk about the score. Once they explain the score to you, If you have any complaints or you disagree, you tell them there at the meeting, and either fix it or don't fix it. You know, it's a conversation. If you don't agree with it at the end, you can go straight to the principal, and that's a known thing. And then then they send the score into the school district. So it's a very, very fair process. I like it. They go over strengths and weaknesses, things that you can improve. And if you're a habitually low scorer, they have interventions for you where they'll set, if you need a mentor teacher, the administrator would be your mentor if you ask them to. Anything you need, they're at your disposal and they will help you. So there really is no reason why you should not be an effective teacher in my school. They spend a lot of time on teachers and they want teachers to be successful. Resources for teachers. So if you feel you had an unfair evaluation, obviously, like I said, you talk with your evaluator at the end of it, and if you still disagree at the end of it, you can go straight to the principal. And if the matter is still not being to your liking, you go to superintendent or to the union. It's straightforward. Pretty much the same thing with termination. If you think you're about to be unfairly terminated, you go straight. Of course, you talk to the principal, and then the superintendent, and then the union, which they provide legal representation for all teachers if needed. One of the cases that I found was the Doe versus Antioch. I read into it, and it sounded the state was in favor of the school district. So kind of weird. I mean, it sounded like they had a solid case. After reading the Stool Act and looking at the case, it was legit. But it definitely opened up a lot of eyes as to the evaluation process and how unfair school districts can be, or schools can be, sometimes just in an effort to save a dime. So thought it was a very unfair case. What could I do as a future building leader? Stay current on state and district laws as it pertains to evaluations. Make sure my administration team is definitely trained on evaluation procedures. Make sure teachers are being proactive on understanding it. If they don't understand it, to see their administrator. Make sure that they're up in their professional development and they're seeking professional development outside of what is just mandated by the school or the school district. I think it's important for teachers to be lifelong learners and to take charge of their own education. And then, of course, just stay up to date on current evaluation procedure guidelines. Like for me with the Marzano model, if I was an administrator in my school right now, I would need to do more reading up on Marzano to be an effective evaluator. And I know that. And I would do that. I would make sure that I would be an effective evaluator for my teachers. And then I just add this in here, what am I going to do next? This definitely opened my eyes to what I know about evaluations. I know a good amount about my schools, but I know I could be smarter on it. I can definitely know more. So what am I going to do? I'm going to educate myself more on the evaluation process to, one, make myself a more effective teacher, but then I can also be a mentor for other teachers on the evaluation process if they had any questions for it. So that's it for me. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing all you guys' videos. Take care.